Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. The video today is about the heart has a brain. Does the heart have a brain? Yes, the heart does have a brain. We actually have three brains. We have the brain that we're used to, the brain in our head. We have the brain in our heart. And we have the brain in our stomach or our gut. All three of these have neuroreceptors. And these receptors are what takes in, transfers the information, and gives us a reaction. So we're used to thinking with our head. And when we think with our head, what happens is the brain has a pre-programmed response. So if, say your reaction is that you're in a bakery and you see a beautiful piece of French pastry, your brain processes that emotion as wanting. And most likely at that point, you would take the French pastry because that's what your brain is used to having that response. Now, if you use your heart to process the emotion, you take it in, you say, okay, there's French pastry here. I really would like to have it, but I'm also on a diet. I'm staying away from these things, so right now it's not in my best interest. And you could sit with that emotion and walk away from the French pastry. And that's the difference between thinking with the heart and thinking with the brain. When we think with the brain, it's an automatic response. If it's a pleasurable response, then it's peace, tranquility. But if it's an emotion that's giving us a little bit of tension, some anxiety, maybe some fear, our fight or flight kicks in. And when fight or flight kicks in, then what we have is the pre-programmed response for survival. And that's fine if your life is in danger, that's what you need. But as I said before, 99.9999% of the time, we are not in immediate danger. We're just perceiving that because we're reacting like we did in the past. So if you want to look at it, it's kind of a post-traumatic stress syndrome. And I would venture to say that right now we're all under kind of a post-traumatic stress syndrome because of everything that's going on. And you add on to that now the fact that tomorrow is the anniversary of 9/11 for people that live in the United States. Really, it was throughout the world, but it did hit New York City. So we also have that to deal with. And all these things can be a lot to deal with. So we need to find a way that we could be calm, that we could be peaceful, and that we could keep moving forward and make the best decisions for ourselves. And that's where this thinking with the heart comes in. That the heart has the neuroreceptors. It's able to take in, process emotions. And then it could send those responses via the vagus nerve to the brain, where we could remain peaceful, calm, serene, and not be anxious and not be fearful. And that is important. I think that's what we all want, is a way to be peaceful, to be relaxed. And that's one way to do it. Also, when we think with our heart, I call it living from our heart, because that's where our gratitude, compassion, it's really where we get to utilize and really refine our personal power. And I've talked about that before, that we all have this power within us. You can call it your spirit, you could call it the God within us, the universe within us, the higher power within us, whatever your belief is. But we do have that within us. We have everything that we need inside of us. And a lot of times we don't use it because we haven't really refined those skills. Or a lot of times we're afraid that if we use our own decision making, that we may make a wrong decision. And things like when it comes to things, like our health, important things like that, sometimes we would prefer not to make that decision. But we all have the power within us to live our best lives, to be the healthiest that we can, to live our best life to the fullest. And that requires us to open up our hearts and to live from our heart, to be connected to other people, to understand that we are interconnected to each other, but yet we're not responsible for other people. We can help them out, but everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own life. And sometimes we kind of get that confused. If we're caretakers, if we're children, if we're parents, sometimes we kind of intermesh our lives with someone else's and feel that we are responsible for everything that they do and responsible for total protection. But that's not true. We're just responsible to help them out, to be kind, to be considerate, to respect other people, and not to intentionally harm people. And by that I mean not holding a gun to somebody's head, not using a weapon, not using words in an unkind way, because words could be weapons. So that's what it means by our responsibility to other people. But our main responsibility is to ourselves. And our responsibility is to know that we have that power, that personal power, to start to use that personal power to the best of our ability. I've often said before that one way to refine and ignite that personal power is through meditation. Because in meditation you have the chance to sit quietly, to sit with yourself without any disturbances, without thinking about things. Sure, thoughts come in, but thoughts pass. We don't dwell on them in meditation. We just allow everything to be. And when we allow everything to be, we can listen to that inner guidance, our spirit, our higher self, the God within us, the universe within us. We could listen to that and how it guides us and gives us the subtle messages that we need in order to live the very best life that we can live. And it also gives us the confidence to know that in any situation that we're doing the very best we can, and that we could proceed with self-confidence, without fear, without worry, without anxiety, because we know that we're doing the very best we can regardless of the situation. And it also helps us to surrender to that higher power, that there is a power higher than us. We can't always control things. We can't control the outcomes of things. And sometimes we can't prevent things from happening. Sometimes we just have to be resilient and go with the flow. And that's what really resilience is. It's like being like water, just flowing. And I heard that on a podcast the other day. And I thought that that was really good, that water flows. And when water comes upon a rock, if it can't go over the rock, it goes around it. And that's obstacles. We face obstacles. We'll come into any type of roadblocks. And just know that there's always solution. There's always a way around something. So I'll leave you today with the thought that the heart has a brain, that you could use your heart to think. It's not that you disregard the brain, but if you take the emotions in first from your heart, let them sit there, process the emotions, good, bad, indifferent, and then let the brain respond. You're much calmer, you're much more at peace, and you're without the anxiety, without the fear, and you're not going into that fight or flight survival mode. So I hope that helps you. In the future, we'll be talking about things like intuition, which also is that inner guidance, and it's that refining of the inner guidance. It's not about mind reading at all. It's about using our resources within us to guide us, and we will talk about that. My little dog Lucky is with me today, and he's in the backyard, and he's barking at all the ducks in the lake, and he's barking at the flamingos and everything else that he could find that he thinks is invading his property. So I'll leave you with Namaste. I honor the light in you, which is the same light in me. Teresa Palmer. I am a nurse practitioner. My specialty is holistic cardiology. I'm also trained in functional medicine, and I'm also trained in Eastern traditions. So my practice is pretty much a combination of everything, looking at people from a totally holistic Eastern and Western perspective, and treating people for ailments and whatnot from both of those perspectives. For over 20 years, I've been empowering people to be partners in their health care and to help them develop their intuition and knowing, giving them the knowledge and the tools they have to know that they have everything inside of them that they need in order to live their best life, their most comfortable, productive life, a life in as good as health as they can possibly be. You could also find me on YouTube, and that's my channel right now is called Create Your Space of Well-Being, and that's on YouTube, and I do upload my videos to YouTube. I can also be found on Facebook, Wellbeing by Teresa. I'm also on Instagram, which is the bottom slash well-being, bottom slash being bottom slash gal. And my website is wellbeinggal.com, spelled out WELLBEINGCOM. I'm sorry, Wellbeing Gal. WELLBEINGGAL.com. My book is called Empowered for Wellbeing. It could be found on Amazon.com or BalboaPress.com. And in that book, I give you the information and the tools that you need to live a life that's self-assured, self-confident, and to live from your heart. So thank you for joining me today. And what I'd like to do right now is just a brief moment of silence just to remember 9/11, when the attack on the Pentagon, the attack on New York City, the Twin Towers, the planes going down. Thanking all the first responders, everyone who helped out during that time, all the brave people that stepped forward, and just congratulating everyone on how life went on after that, that we didn't let anything stop us or anybody stop us from anything, and we did not give in to terrorism. So I'd like you to just, for the next 30 seconds, we're just going to have a moment of silence, of thanksgiving, of remembrance, and then I will shut off the video.